In a Sunday morning tweet, President Donald Trump once again weighed in on the upcoming Alabama special election. Rather than explicitly endorse controversial Republican Roy Moore, Trump instead took aim at Democratic challenger Doug Jones. The last thing we need in Alabama and the U.S. Senate is a SchumerPelosi puppet who is weak on crime, weak on the border, bad for our military and our great vets, bad for our Second Amendment, and wants to raise his taxes to the sky. Jones would be a disaster. Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump, November 26, 2017. But there is one big problem with Trump's claim that Jones would be weak on crime. John's resume says he'd be exactly the opposite. In 1997, former President Bill Clinton picked Jones to serve as U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama. 5 years later, Jones would prosecute 2 Ku Klux Klan members for their role in the 1963 bombing of a black church in Birmingham. Nearly 4 decades later, Jones recounted his experience with the case in a HuffPost op-ed. He recalled attending the 1976 trial in which only one of the KKK members responsible for the bombing would be brought to justice. Despite a tremendous investigative effort by the FBI, no charges were filed in the bombing until 1976, when Alabama Attorney General Bill Baxley indicted Robert "Dynamite Bob" Chambliss for the murder of Denise McNair. I skipped law school classes the following year to the trial, in which Chambliss was convicted of first-degree murder. As I sat in the balcony taking in the drama of the Chambliss trial, I had no way of knowing that 24 years later I would have the opportunity to finish the job. America is a nation of laws, justice, equality and opportunity, and we must push back against those who threaten those fundamental American values, Jones added. Hope is durable but not invincible. It represents the best of what America is about, and we all suffer if we fail to protect it. In his time as U.S. Attorney, Jones also worked to build a case against Eric Rudolph for the bombing of a Birmingham abortion clinic in 1998. Moore, the other candidate in Alabama, was twice removed from the Alabama Supreme Court for misconduct and has recently been the subject of numerous allegations of UAL misconduct, including one accusation of misconduct with an underage girl. Lee Korfman, who was 14 at the time, recalled her experience with Moore during a recent interview with NBC's Today show. He touched me over my clothing, what was left of it, and he tried to get me to touch him as well. And at that point, I pulled back and said that I was not comfortable. And I got dressed, and he took me home. But I was a 14-year-old child trying to play in an adult's world, and he was 32 years old. Moore was first removed from the court in 2003 when he refused to remove a monument of the Ten Commandments from the Alabama Supreme Court building after it was ruled to be in violation of the First Amendment. After winning re-election to the court, Moore resigned in 2016 after being suspended from the court for refusing to comply with the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in Obergefell v. Hodges, the ruling that legalized same marriage nationwide. Moore has repeatedly demonstrated a contempt for the rule of law when it conflicts with his own personal or religious beliefs. Now, he wants to be the next U.S. Senator from Alabama.